Wow. I don't even know where to begin. Did you catch that game tonight? City and Real Madrid? I mean, what a finish.
I know, it was unbelievable. Definitely not for the faint of heart. That last 20 minutes, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Yeah, me too. For a while there, it felt like we were watching a repeat of, City's past struggles against Real Madrid, like all those missed chances early on.
Yeah.
It just felt like Real Madrid were in control.
Right. I mean, Mendy, he had that wide open goal. And then Mbappe one-on-one with Ederson. I mean, how do you not score those?
Exactly. It just felt like Real were toying with them at times.
Yeah.
And you have to think, what if that penalty on Vinicius Jr. hadn't been ruled out? I mean, even though Ederson got a hand to it, the contact was there, that could have changed the whole game.
Absolutely. It was a huge let-off for City, and they just didn't capitalize on it.
They looked a little rattled, for sure.
Yeah, like hesitant.
And then, boom, out of nowhere, Haaland, silences all the doubters.
What a goal.
Grealish with that perfect pass. Varvardiol chests it down, and Haaland just chips it over Courtois like it was nothing.
It was a moment of brilliance, the kind of play that you just can't plan for, like a reminder from City that they can hurt any team in the world.
It was. And it seemed to give City, a bit of life, a bit of energy.
Mm.
And then, well, you know how it goes with City this season, right?
Yeah, here we go again.
The momentum just shifts again.
It's like a pattern with them. They build up a lead, and then for whatever reason, something just snaps.
Exactly. And tonight, it was Real Madrid's turn to take advantage. Mbappe's goal, I still don't know how it went in. It was off his shin. Pure luck, I don't know. But it definitely deflated City.
Yeah, you could see it in their body language, all that belief just draining away. And you have to give Real Madrid credit. They smelled blood, and they went for the kill.
And then, well, the floodgates opened. Diaz scores off of Ederson's mistake to tie it. And then, stoppage time, Bellingham pops up with the winner. I mean, honestly, it was painful to watch if you're a City fan.
I mean, what's concerning for City is that both of those goals came from just individual mistakes.
Yeah.
Ederson's howler on that second goal, and then Kovacic loses the ball, which leads to Bellingham's winner.
The same old story for City. Brilliant going forward.
Mm.
But defensively, they just can't seem to hold on to leads.
It's becoming a trend, a worrying
And
trend.
you have to wonder what kind of psychological impact it's having on the players.
Right. Can they shake off this feeling that every time they concede a goal, the game is over?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Especially with that second leg coming up in Madrid.
Well, let's take a look at some of the things that might be contributing to these late game collapses. Because this isn't a new problem for City. So
Yeah.
what are we seeing that's different this year?
It's true. It's not a new problem. I mean,
Yeah.
we've seen these kinds of collapses before, but it just seems like it's happening more and more often this year.
You're right. It's almost like it's become predictable. They get the momentum, they dominate, and then all of a sudden it's like they just flip a switch. Almost like they're inviting the pressure.
That's an interesting way to put it, and I think you've hit on something there. It's like there's a mental aspect to it, this
Yeah.
fragility that we haven't really seen from them in the past.
Right. So if it's not tactics, then what is it? I mean, could it be a leadership void?
Hmm.
We've seen teams lose that steeliness when they lose a key figure.
It's definitely a factor. Fernandinho leaving, it left a void in that midfield. And while guys like Diaz and De Bruyne have tried to step up, it's just not quite the same. Fernandinho had that presence, that aura about him. He could rally the troops when things got tough.
Yeah. So that intangible quality, that leadership by example. You need someone who can just take control of the game, grab it by the scruff of the neck and say, no more, we're not losing this.
And it's not just about, shouting or making tackles. It's about reading the game, anticipating danger, making those key interventions that can just change the momentum.
And it's interesting because when you look at Real Madrid, they have that in abundance. I mean, guys like Modric, Kroos, Benzema, they're not always the flashiest players, but they just understand the game at such a high level.
Yeah, they know how to control the tempo, how to weather the storm, and when the opportunity comes, they strike.
And that composure, it was on full display tonight. Even when City were on top, Real Madrid never lost their cool. They just kept communicating, organizing, never losing sight of their objective.
And that's where City need to improve. They've got the talent, they've got the tactical awareness, but do they have the mental fortitude to overcome these setbacks? Can they stay calm under pressure, keep their discipline when it matters most?
I mean, that's the question, isn't it? It's the question that's going to define their season and maybe even Pep Guardiola's legacy at the club.
Because right now it's like they're stuck in this cycle of almost, willing themselves to fail.
And It's not just about individual errors, though obviously those were costly. It's about the collective response. It's that ability to dig deep and find a way to grind out a result even when things aren't going your way.
You hit the nail on the head. Mental toughness, resilience, that's what separates the great teams from the rest.
So how do you fix that? I mean, is that something you can teach? Can you instill that belief, that never say die attitude? Or is it just something that some players have and some players don't?
That's the million-dollar question, and there's no easy answer. But I think it starts with leadership. It's about creating a culture of accountability where every player knows their role and they're committed to doing whatever it takes to win.
And maybe it's about embracing the pressure instead of shying away from it. Recognizing that these moments of adversity are what define champions.
Yeah, it's about developing that mental muscle memory, that ability to stay focused and composed when everything is on the line.
Well, it'll be fascinating to see how they respond to this challenge, not just for the rest of the season, but moving forward.
Absolutely. And we can't forget about that second leg in Madrid.
Oh, yeah, good point. City are going to have their work cut out for them.
They are, but I mean, we've seen them pull off miracles before, so you never know.
True, true. And Real Madrid, they'll be looking for revenge after losing tonight.
Oh, absolutely. The Bernabéu is going to be rocking. City will need to be at their absolute best to have any chance of coming back in this tie.
All right, well, let's switch gears a bit and talk about some of the individual performances that stood out tonight. I mean, there were some great displays on both sides of the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, where do you even start? There were so many great battles going on all over the pitch.
So many.
But for me, you have to start with Bellingham.
Yeah.
Quiet for most of the match, but that winning goal, I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what separates the great players from the good players.
To have that composure at that moment is incredible. And to be in the right place at the right time to make the difference. I mean, and he's only 21.
No, it's crazy. Missed a couple of chances earlier, but it didn't seem to faze him.
Nope.
Kept his head up, kept working, and when the moment came, he was ready for it. I mean, that's the kind of mental toughness that you just don't see very often.
Yeah.
Especially from someone his age.
He's already being compared to, some of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
And you can see why. He's got it all. The physicality, the technical skill, the tactical awareness, and most importantly, the belief that he can make the difference. He could be the deciding factor in this tie. I mean, no doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. On the City side, I thought Gvardiol had a pretty solid game. I mean, especially considering all the pressure he was under.
Yeah.
That assist for Haaland's goal, oh my gosh, that was beautiful.
Gvardiol, I mean, he's just a Rolls Royce of a defender. So smooth on the ball. He's not just a brute force. He can actually play a bit, too.
Yeah.
And he's so young, he's only going to get better. He's still getting used to the Premier League, the pace, the intensity, but you can see he has the potential to be one of the best.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And speaking of Haaland, I'm sure he's relieved to finally get that goal against Real Madrid. But even he seemed a little frustrated at times.
Yeah, I mean, he's a goal machine, but even the best strikers have off nights. What impressed me, though, was his movement.
Yeah.
He was constantly running into channels, creating space for his teammates. He wasn't just standing around waiting for the ball. He was involved in the build-up play.
Yeah, he was. And Vinicius Jr. for Real Madrid, he was a constant threat. City just could not handle his pace or his dribbling.
He's a nightmare for defenders.
Yeah.
So unpredictable.
Yeah.
He can go inside, he can go outside, he can beat you with pace, he could beat you with skill, and he's just got that swagger, that confidence that makes him so dangerous.
He seemed to really enjoy that battle with Kyle Walker. Every time they came together, it was electric.
It was a fascinating duel to watch. Walker is one of the fastest defenders in the world, but even he had trouble keeping up with Vinicius Jr. It'll be interesting to see what City does to try to contain him in that second leg.
Yeah. Well, all in all, just an amazing game. So much to talk about. But, I mean, what's the big takeaway for you?
I think the big takeaway is that this tie is far from over.
Yeah.
Real Madrid, they've got the advantage, but City, they've got the experience and the quality to turn things around.
Absolutely.
It's all going to come down to who wants it more, who's got that mental toughness to see it through.
That second leg at the Bernabéu is going to be something else. Can't wait.
I know, me neither. All right, well, that's going to do it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back soon to break down all the action from the second leg. But until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.